Hey everyone, it's Black Power Magic Hour. This is our final episode because people like fascism, people like full-on authoritarian disinformation. So we're going to go off the air now, so you guys can be lied to by mass media. My name's Messiah Rhodes.
I am Dr. Evil Genius, and me, I'm going to say for myself, I understand that Cream is not just a song that Wu-Tang did. Cash does, in fact, rule everything around me, and when there's no cash, I guess there's no media company around me. So, so as many of you probably know, the economy is in the shitter for most people. And for, small independent media, you're going to take some hits. And the only thing I can really say is I really do appreciate the opportunity afforded to me. First I got to thank you because, you went behind my back without even asking me, and then took my video over to your people and say, hey, I got this idea. And you're like, well, I already pitched the idea. Are you with it? I'm like, all right, cool. And then
that's called using momentum to get.
I got to give a lot of thanks to everybody at act.tv. Remember Matt, used to be in the back, producing the show. I got to give a lot of love to Brad, because Brad, man, Sabrina and Brad, wow. I gotta, since the Rona started, because remember, we started this almost exactly 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And the social atmosphere really sucked. And the economic situation, especially for myself personally, it really sucked. And, whenever there was any kind of issue or complication, they stepped up ultra fast to be as helpful as they possibly could. And
because ActTV represents what we want to see in our media, that supports voices from the bottom up. It supports things that is not this the View bullshit of this talking about superficial nonsense. A lot of times not even things people are even worried about. They're just forcing it for people to be worried about. Here we actually talk about things that people actually care about, want to laugh at, want to cry at, and that's what TV across the board does, with James and the internet to Juliana to across the platforms. This is what the kind of media that we wish we can have. Mind you, ActTV is such an amazing thing. It got its start. You know how ActTV got its start? It's got its start because, it's the greatest momentum it got was when 2016, when Bernie was running for president. While MSNBC, while CNN, I'm not even saying it. I'm not even Fox. Fox can do whatever they want. But I'm talking about the outlets that people assume that they trust, where this filming Donald Trump's platform, empty platform, and talking about what he's going to say when he gets up there. What he's going to do when he's going to up there.
While Bernie's talking.
Yeah, while Bernie's talking to thousands and thousands of people. I'm not even exaggerating. He's talking to packed stadiums of people. So ActTV filled in that gap. And they were hired by the Bernie Sanders campaign to film his speeches. In some ways they help us have hope that there's other big people talking besides this Trump and Hillary Clinton. And ActTV was a part of that. So to this day, ActTV represents that voice that everyone hope. It's the hopeful. It's not like CNN, gas prices, people are going to die, or we're all going to die. You watch CNN and feel like you're just going to die, from lay down on the floor and just die. ActTV gives you hope. So that's a fundamental difference.
Well, act.tv gives you hope until we do some future stuff.
Oh yeah.
Then it's oh shit. But I think about Once Brad hit me up yesterday, I was just like, it ain't nothing good. So, I started to think about what kind of touched all this stuff off. And, it was weird because I started sending the video to a lot of different people, hoping that somebody would see the hypocrisy of how, a man could be murdered in the streets by a police officer in front of the world. And you got a large portion. I don't know if they are the minority, just a sizable minority or the majority, but you had a large portion of the U.S. population that was completely silent. But then somebody broke a piece of glass and they lit a wooden pallet on fire. And then all of these people found their voices because, a man being killed in the street does not jar, their senses. What jars their senses is a broken window. So, I for me, it's just like, I've always been a keep that same energy guy, right?
Yeah.
I just like, at that moment when I was kind of going off, and I was doing a gaming live stream, no less, I just really wish that these motherfuckers would just come out and just say, yo, we hate black people. We value Windows more than black people. Just come out and say that shit.
Yeah. And then Kyle Rittenhouse went out there and shot 2 white people. So yeah,
but they were nigger lovers, right? Right? Apparently. And Clayton Bigsby, he can't be. He'll divorce you after 19 years of marriage. So I think about what kind of touched all this stuff off, and here we are 2 years later. There was one time we broke news about some shit that was happening across seas. We covered. We tried to get like experts on the show to talk about the Rona while the misinformation was running high. Of course, we didn't get any traction off of that, right?
Yeah, the misinformation did. Now we're ending mask mandates and you don't need a vaccine anymore. Just spit in each other's mouth.
Oh, yeah. In the subway in New York.
Lick the subway platform.
Yeah. No, that shit that be dripping from the ceiling, stick your tongue out. It's crazy. Like, when I got the call that basically all the talent was getting, basically we all got pretty much laid off. I was kind of okay with it because I know where it comes from, right? But you're getting prepared for tonight's show, man. Like, it's really started to hit me because, like, you think about like the theme music. And again, we got to give a shout out to Matt. Matt made like a whole bunch of graphics for us that just is so fucking professional, yo. I could not. It's a real privilege because I think when you're a kid, you think of yourself like being on TV. And
we're on TV. Technically, we are.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, but I mean, look at the team that they surrounded us up with. When we first started, we had a couple of producers, and and you really start thinking about it, and it's just like, they gave me a platform that nobody else gave me to this point. And I got to say a lot of things that I'm proud of. I get to look at union employees in the face. I get to look at people who work hourly for $15 an hour or less.
Remember,
I get to look them in the eye, and I get to proudly say, you know what? I went and I spoke in front of the world, and I stood up for you guys, and act.tv allowed me to do that.
Remember before they got the union vote to Amazon, we were on Amazon's ass.
Oh yeah,
whole 2 years.
Yeah, and before the vote, we were on Eric Adams' ass. I mean, he's lucky, right? Yeah. Because we would have just gone his entire fucking mayoral tenure just ripping on him. Yeah. So I guess he closed the door.
Yeah. You got the automatic doors in us. So you got it installed. So,
yeah. So.
Yeah, so we had like act.tv gave us this pleasure of having this platform that it kept expanding too. We were like on That, like I said, we're on television platforms, stick platforms, where we live on those, we're YouTube. So we're not just on the internet, we're like actual on television right now. So it's remarkable where ACT.TV is headed, and I really hope that they keep the momentum going. And
Brad said, "Bing bong."
Yeah. So ACT.TV is one of the amazing platforms. You know, it falls in line with, like, in some ways, like Democracy Now. It falls in line with these other, like, the Young Turks. These, like, you know, platforms that, like, it's not like full out fascist weirdos. So it's amazing that we have these things, and I hope they keep going. So
yeah, hell yeah. And from what I heard, you know, Bertie was in my ear saying, you know what, you know, it might not be, you know, a funeral, but more like a see you later, possibly.
Yeah,
you know,
this might be Infinity Wars. Like, maybe Brad is like Doctor Strange. Brad is Doctor Strange.
We need to go get the Infinity Stones, the different version of them. They go back in time and get them shits.
That's what Brad and Harry's gonna do next. They got to go back in time and get the new ones. You know, so right now Brad is Doctor Strange handing Thanos the Time Stone, but it's about that one chance.
Yeah, you know? that you know, that 14,000,006. You know, we have 14,000,006. But you know, and in which how many of them do we win? One. I'm sorry, Mr. Stark. And then like this. I mean, if you look at my set, right, a lot of like the upgrades that I was able to do to make this like seem decent, a lot of that was because of the work that I, you know, was doing for act.tv. I took a lot of, you know, what was afforded to me, and I put it, you know, right back into all of this, you know. So
act.tv helped me support. Pretty much what happened was I did this documentary Out of Zero, and I adored coming back to New York City. I was gonna, like, you know, go into the media world, but then the pandemic happened. I was just locked in my house, and Brad gave me an opportunity to work on like kind of all of like the kind of streaming services that they do, the bread and butter of act.tv. So I got to learn all the different parts of that while middle of those crazy lockdown months. So I was working on that. It was pretty great. So they gave me they actually saved my life in other ways during the pandemic, the height of the pandemic. Otherwise I would have spent, like, you know, one of these people robbing you in Subway. So
yeah, I mean, but you know, I again, you know, they gave me an opportunity to do something that I am proud of, and you know, I think that's like the real takeaway, and I do want, you know, people to continue to keep trying to speak up for people who, you know, don't have anybody speaking up for them, you know. Yeah. And, you know, because, you know, I didn't know that this was going to happen, but I just thought that it was important to speak up for people that look like me for once.
Yeah, so we're gonna bring in one of our favorite guests, JB, to show that we're remember in the early days, people were like, Black Power Magic Hour, are you guys gonna like go out there and start killing white people? Like,
we were getting that shit 2 months ago. The fuck? Motherfucker wasn't even listening or watching, you know. It was like, oh, that title. I mean, but you know, I do think that that's probably like the most tragic part of this. What is the racist, you know, fringe right winger? What you know, they need ammunition for their narrative, right? Like, if we're not here anymore with the show, you know, what can they take back to their friends?
Yeah,
you know.
They can watch The Wire and be scared of black people that way.
Yo, dude, I've been watching that shit, man. I'm starting season 4.
They can hide in their blanket and watch it. Oh no, Omar, don't come to my neighborhood. Like,
you know, I don't know, man. I mean, you know, maybe they should move to Amsterdam.
So we're gonna bring in our first guest, JB, and I'm gonna watch our rich Professor Richard Will was able to come on our show and talk about workers' rights and unions and stuff, but we're gonna show a video. We're gonna hang out with JB and have fun with that. So I'm bringing JB in real quick. I'm not sure how.
I hit up Lewis to see if he wants to pop in.
So hey, what's up?
What's going on?
Yo, what's going on?
I thought you were gonna say our first white guest
Oh, nah. You had several people beat you to that. Nah. Like you're like white guest like number. You're like white guest number 7 on a supposedly on a show that hates white people. Apparently,
it's the last show.
Last call.
I haven't had that many appearances, so I'm in a different mood. I'm up, and I look forward to introducing my library as backstage to the next girl who comes over. And I figure that, in terms of all of the different ways that we imagine being on TV as kids, I've always kept kind of in my mind as I've gotten older and older that, they talk about the spike in crime and everything and what's going to make it on the news. I've always had in the back of my mind, in one way or another, I will be in the news. I will be on TV. And so this economy should pick up because, it's not a threat, but, I am putting that in the with the bottom, with my signature. Hire me or, one more unmedicated outpatient wandering the trains.
No, really appreciate JB. We had you before for the crazy Sunset Park shooting that happened. When it comes to crime report, it comes to incarceration and stuff like that. What's going on? Like when people, this is before we had you before. This before the whole idea about the rise and grind. We talked about the factor of recidivism. Is like if you put people out in the street, with no resources, you think they're gonna become like Care Bears and hug you?
It's a different kind of hug though.
Yeah, like in the womb, going back to the womb.
Yeah.
Come back to the essence.
Yeah.
No, I was just kidding about all that other stuff. I've been you guys for a long time. I don't see it that way at all. I can't believe that people thought the title implied like a black supremacist agenda.
Yeah,
it's such an irreverent title,
Yeah,
Magic
and first, before we can get to black supremacy, how about we get the black equality first?
Exactly.
How about we get there first?
I've heard, yeah.
But groups who have a racial, ideology or whatever. Like, I don't see how you'd have to be really out of it to look at any title that said Black Power Magic Hour and think, okay, this is...
Unfortunately, a lot of people are really out of it. They're living their own...
But the thing is, when you've been hearing white power your whole fucking life... anything other than that is an assault on your sensibilities.
And white power actually builds highways through people's neighborhoods. And
white power keeps poor white people happy having nothing.
Yeah. Exactly.
White power is a term only came after people started saying black power and brown power. Before it was just power, and white people didn't need to add that in there. But it was sort of like, frustrating.
Say what happened with Black Lives Matter, and then it was White Lives Matter and All Lives Matter. You don't hear no All Lives Matter people right now when kids are being murdered in the classrooms and people getting shot up in emergency rooms. You don't hear no all. Have you heard any All Lives Matter cheers at all? Nothing.
No.
If all lives matter, then they would have destroyed every gun on planet Earth. So
I don't. Yeah. In some cases like that, people are just confused, and they're just so unplugged with contemporary thought that they don't understand in the context. Black lives don't matter in America. So that it's important to say that. So they're out of context. Maybe, I don't know. That's the best excuse I can think of for them. But but people in New York, for sure, who came out and said Blue Lives Matter, they did know what they were saying. To me, that is a white power.
There's Smurf people walking around.
Oh no, I was thinking Avatar.
Howard Beach parades where they have a protester hanging over the hood of an SUV.
Oh god, yeah, they did that in 2020. I remember that. That was
it was coded. It was like
that's pretty. I don't know about coded. That seems pretty
minimally
on the nose.
Carpe Diem said all AR-15s matter.
Yeah, all pointed bullets matter.
It's really funny when I drive. when I drive around, if I end up behind a car that has like one of those blue lines, one of those horizontal blue lines, like I instantly think of them like with whole, like tactical boot, like rubber soles, like in their mouth.
Especially now we had this situation in Uvede of like cops hanging around or kids are just getting shot and just being blown to pieces. Like that's pretty much you have to say at this point. They stood around while kids were being shredded.
Yeah.
Into bowls of jello.
And Wolf, he's a frequent contributor to act.tv.
Yeah, he definitely is. So
that's outstanding.
So now how can you be Blue Lives Matter and Blue Lives and do shit to save children?
What is a blue life?
Smurf. You said Avatar, right? You see Avatar.
Blue rabbit fucking. I'm sorry, I love Robot Chicken. Yo, that
Richard Wolf from
that was just like the best.
Responding to another Ask Prof. Wolf question. And actually today it's two questions. One from Ahmad Garanfoli, a member of our website community, and the other one from Vidit, a member of our Patreon community, because their questions overlap and I can handle them together.
I thought he was about the porn site.
I'm
wild.
Richard Wolf is on OnlyFans?
No, he said vivid. I'm like, what?
Workers who have different skills, would those with more skills be paid more, the way that happens in capitalism, and so on? This is really a wonderful question because it allows me to focus everyone's attention on key differences between a capitalist system and a worker co-op system. Here's the basic story. In a capitalist system, the only skills that get you a job are the ones that make a profit for your employer. That's how capitalism works. The skills you have that are not relevant to the capitalist profit don't count. That is, to be precise, he doesn't count them. He doesn't care if you're good with children. He doesn't care if you're a wonderful coworker. He doesn't really care about what happens to your family.
Those are not marketable skills.
What you do in the hours that you're working that enhances his profit. The worker co-op community would operate completely differently. It would look at all your skills because it deals with all of you. It wants to be there to handle needs you have, perhaps physical, perhaps mental. It needs to take into account your family. It needs to take into account whether you're a leader,
family. What's that?
Flexible, whether you have intellectual interest.
Right now, yeah. What's a family at this point?
Opportunities for the business in the future that they can't even imagine at this point.
No, like he said, he can't imagine that shit.
That has to take care of itself. And let me drive home why this matters so much. If you have a skill and the employer pays you, but that's what the employer cares about, but it's not a skill that's all that valuable to the employer, they won't pay you very much. And you know what that might mean? That might mean you need to take a second job because you're not paid really very well. And that means you're not going to have much time for your children. And that means that they're going to be perhaps neglected if the same problems affect your husband or your wife.
And then they go buy AR-15s
and then they go find some black people 200 miles away.
All of those things matter. All of those things shape what kind of lives we all have. They should be taken into account when the time comes to decide what kind of job you have, what kind of support you get. But that's not how capitalism works. The capitalist doesn't have to worry about helping you through family crisis, through difficulty with your children. The capitalist, again, buys whatever skills you have that help his profit. Everything else is of no concern or so secondary as to basically disappear from view. And here's where Vidit's question comes in. Vidit asks, look, I know so many people, Vidit says, who have great skills, who have gone to school, who have great ambitions, but can't get or find a job that makes use of all that they want to contribute. Exactly right. But that's a system problem. That's because capitalism, in a way, holds us all hostage when it comes to jobs. The only jobs that will be there are the ones that make a profit. Capitalists will tell you if they're honest. We're not here to solve social problems. We're not here to make your life productive. We're not here to build the community. We're here to make money. That's what we get rewarded for. And if we don't do it, that's what we get punished for. That's how the system works. And that's exactly
Seems
right.
like when some people make money,
Everything
all of
else
society
is
gets punished.
secondary. You only get a job if someone makes a profit hiring you, and they want that profit to be maximized, and they don't care or want you distracted by all the other things that a rich, diverse life
Oh, your children? Get the
involves.
fuck out of here.
That's a problem of the system.
Being able to
And
urinate?
ironically,
Nope.
it undermines
You got bottles for that.
capitalism
You got little
itself.
water bottles. You can pee in.
Because here's the irony.
Remember,
If
it's
you
about the
treat
cans and the
people
bottles.
so narrowly, I'm only interested in you for this particular thing you do to enhance my profit, and you ignore everything else is going to come back and bite you as a capitalist. The worker who is unhappy because there's no proper fit between what he or she loves to do on the one hand and the job they have in their life on the other. That's an unhappy person whose lack of opportunity to do what he
Some
or
employees
she
think it's
is not
better
even
when you're
hoping to be
unhappy.
able to do will eat at them physically and mentally, and they may very well stop being a very profitable employee because you've neglected all of the other dimensions except that one that led you to hire the person in the first place. This is a bitter lesson that capitalism teaches so many, and not the least important reason to go beyond capitalism is that we ought to have jobs that fit people, not the other way around. And we certainly oughtn't to have the jobs we do as human beings held hostage, because we're the majority who do the work, held hostage to the profits of a very small subsection of our society. Not a good way to build communities.
Yeah, there you go.
You don't give a fuck about communities. Like, what the fuck you...
strike you as they strike us, worthy of producing a video like this, then help us, partner with us, share it.
So that's why that's one of the reasons I want to share that, because it ended with about community. It ended with the fact that, like, end of the day, you know, like when you're at work at a shitty job for like 40 hours, 50 hours, 80 hours, whatever, what time do you have for community? What time you have for your children? What time you have for your grandchildren? What time do you have for your aunts and uncles and your cousins? You know, this alienation that so many people feel are just lashing out at each other, at themselves. So,
yeah, one of the most eloquent and precise and insightful texts, I think, on this subject is just going back to Estranged Labor by Karl Marx. Some of his writings on the nature of alienation, worker alienation, you can't reproduce it in paraphrase. I mean, he really takes a scientific, methodical approach to how a worker becomes estranged from the work they do, and how their personal relationship to the work changes. And he looks at, you know, this is during the Industrial Revolution in England. So he compares, you know, the relationship between a weaver, a spinner, or somebody who owns their own blacksmith, their own smithy or whatever, to somebody who's in, you know, one of the very economically productive for capital factory assembly line divisions of labor situations, and describes the psychological effects and the human effects and the human costs to the community. So that's 1844, I think, Estranged Labor. And those aren't part of the, like his proposals for how to, you know, where he starts to then, well, what do we do? We're going to, you know, there's the proletariat, there are two classes. The consequences of all of this is that it breaks down into proletariats and bourgeois, and then moves forward. It's his initial sort of scientific critique of trying to theoretically understand the principles of capitalism and the effects of it on the majorities. Western European countries at that time. And yeah, no, his language is not loaded with values as much as it's just it rings very true and incredibly relevant given how long ago it was written. And you don't have to sign on board to, just like so many people who are philosophers, you don't have to. It's about subscribing to their entitled program. But they did, really bring into popular consciousness the whole notion of a class society. People use Marxist concepts who would devoutly, condemn Marx, like the middle class. That's a phrase you wouldn't hear if he hadn't published his works. But everybody, every American politician will talk about the middle class,
even though it's shrinking almost
even
every by hours shrinking. I mean,
in terms of those things, class societies, labor satisfaction, all kinds of issues and priorities that did not exist at all prior to.
We had, in the 1890s and all the way up to the 1910s, 1920s. If you're a 5-year-old, you go and work somewhere, make some money for your family. There was no child labor laws. There was no hour laws. You could work all week to affinity. You could work all month to affinity. This is in some ways.
Where do you think Buzz Lightyear came from?
It's somehow, and now we come here. We have this productivity. We have the highest productivity in a long time, yet people are not getting paid at all. So I want to bring in another person. Yet, so shout out to YouTube and Twitch for tuning in. We got some really good comments coming in. Mike, who said right now we need Black content creators in the midst of white aggression. They're banning books. They're banning books and allowing you to walk in with a gun. So this is where we at in America right now.
Well, let me address that really quick. When the news that the axe was falling on us came down yesterday, the first thing I did was call Messiah. And, one of the things that I said was, I normally try to do the kind of content that we do here. I normally reserve that for here. And so, nobody can say, hey, you guys can't do human interest content because we're not here, at least for the time being. So I asked him and he agreed, every now and again, we will create videos on my podcast platform, the Talking Shit Podcast. It is not, a left-wing platform by any means.
You're fascists? You guys are fucking fascists?
I don't even know what that means, but we're all completely fascists.
Oh, yeah.
And, one of the things that we want, the premise of our platform is to get conservatives and liberals to engage in discourse, in civil discourse, and to do it right, without all of the mudslinging and the name calling and the judging, and actually have conversations. So, my platform, while it is not, firmly, left in nature, we can still do that same content over there and really talk about.
You have to realize the spectrum of. I'm bringing Richard in here. Shout out to Richard. So the spectrum of left and right in the United States is much different than the spectrum of let's say Germany or France. Being left wing in America means you just don't want people to fucking starve to death in the streets. It doesn't mean that we want to take over all the apartments from the landlords and then lay them out in the streets and shoot them in the back of the head, which is kind of like Venezuela or something like that. So it's we're
nationalize all industry.
Round up all the billionaires and execute them in the streets. We're not.
Public Domain said Antifa here, wrong party. No, that's actually the point of my podcast platform.
No, we are anti-fascists here. There's no fascists here. You're a fascist. Fuck you. Have you been to Germany? You ever been to Germany? Germany, there's a Jewish street. It's the shortest street in Germany.
Yeah.
That shows you, and that goes back 300, 400 years.
What I was going to say is, when it comes to public discourse, at least on my platform, it's not the wrong party. Your voice deserves to be heard, and the places where it needs to be heard are places where people don't necessarily agree with all or most of what you have to say. People need to hear from you.
When you talk about fascism is no longer a discussion.
No, this guy said that he's Antifa.
Yeah, I understand that, but that's because when you deal with fascism is no longer a discussion. Once you're a fascist, it's no discussions. It's about you being
but that's harming. That doesn't help society at all, because you have a bunch of people.
But fascism, you don't hear what I'm saying. When you're a fascist, that means at that point it's no discussion. When you're a fascist, you're a fascist, it's not about talking. You already made your opinion that people shouldn't exist anymore.
Well, I think that Daryl Davis has proven that to be a false narrative. I mean, he's taken. You don't know who Daryl Davis is?
I have no idea what Daryl Davis is.
Whoa, he is a legend. All right, so let me explain who Daryl Davis is. Daryl Davis is a man who is a black blues musician, and he was playing a very small venue in the racist South, in the Southeast, and one of the senior leaders or officials of the KKK ends up in there. So the guy was shocked because he didn't know that, of course he didn't know that black people created blues music as a genre, right? But, he said, wow, I can't believe, this colored fella here can play the blues like this. And it's like, well, you just saw it, Oh, I didn't know that that black people were able to do this. And, he was like, well, you've never sat down and had a beer, because he was talking to the guy at the bar. And he was like, well, you're having a beer with a black guy now. This is not what you assumed that it was going to be. So they're having this conversation. The guy comes away kind of amazed. He actually brings more KKK members in to listen to him play the next time he's there. So they set up a meeting to have a discussion about, some of the misconceptions that this particular guy had. And the story that Daryl told, I'll never forget this as long as I live. He said that they met at a motel room, and Daryl had he brought some iced sodas, or a pail of sodas that he had put in ice, and it was just him, the leader, and the leader's bodyguard, because the assumption is that this black guy is going to do something to the KKK leader, right? And the guy's armed or whatever. Now Daryl, he is really, really nervous this entire time, but then there's a moment where a loud sound happens in the room, and the bodyguard draws his weapon. He's ready to shoot, but it just turns out that as the ice was melting, the soda started shifting in the bucket. And he kind of freaked out about it. He's like, what is all this about? I'm not going to do anything to you. And that was a moment where the guy had to start really rethinking he had to really start rethinking all the things that he were taught. Because when you think about it, most of these white people never even had any real.
But you're not describing fascism.
No, hold on. I'm getting there. No, so what I'm saying is you have this KKK leader who's never really had any real exposure to black people before in his life. So, this is his first time seeing anything different. So after this, he ends up not just leaving the organization, he then gives his robe to Daryl. So then it started a little bit of a perfect storm, where word started getting out, and these guys, would talk to Daryl, and Daryl now has a closet full of KKK robes that was given to him by people who left the organization, simply because he was able to have civil discourse with these guys and then basically prove all the stuff that your grandfather and your grandfather's grandfather taught y'all at the end of the Civil War. None of that shit is real. And most of these people don't even understand why they have the belief system they have. They just get fed that shit generation by generation. So when there are people out there who have views, they don't understand why they have the views, but once they're presented with something in a civil manner, did you get a chance to change minds and hearts? You're never gonna reach these people.
But you're not describing fascism.
No, but what I'm saying is
fascism is no discussion with fascists at that point. Fascists already made a decision.
Yeah, I don't believe that at all. I think that all humans are redeemable.
We need to read history about what fascism has done.
Yeah, but I know people who have changed minds and hearts.
Yeah, individually, sure, but fascists.
But that's all I need. That's all I need. If I get to reach one person,
now fascism.
If I get to reach one person and make them more of a cooperative human being with the rest of society, I don't need to change the whole world. What I need to do is get my merry band of bandits to each affect one person. And then you start to get to a tipping point. And I believe that that's how we solve the problem. So when we created the Talking Shit podcast, we're letting most people talk their shit. Now, but people get crazy. We're like, nah, we're not trying to hear all that. But I'm also talking about the fringe left and the fringe right. We don't allow that. But we're here for people that want to have the conversation in a civil manner, arguing in good faith. And I'm really proud that I could still make videos with you. Like we've done the virus segment. We've done politics as usual. We've done bad cops. We've done future stuff. We've done so many different things that I think is going to live forever, at least in my mind, right? And I believe that we can still make similar content like that and provoke more conversation, especially when you have, one side that believes they aren't being heard, and then you have another side that believes they aren't being heard. Well, I want to be an agent of change in an area that I'm passionate about. And that is, I don't think that anybody really should be silenced. And I want everybody's,
fascists already made the decision to silence you. It's not even want to hear what you have to say.
But I'm not silenced.
I'm
not going to let them. I'm not going to let them dictate to me.
They're not listening to you.
There's a difference between state-funded state policy and a fascist state where the institutions and everything is totally vacuum sealed. I mean, Messiah, you just came back from Europe. So some of those societies, I think it's a different kind of fascism. That's sort of the fascism in the dictionary sense of political systems that are, you could see in European history where the fact that that there's a place to walk into to see a black man singing the blues wouldn't ever happen in a fascist state, because that would have already been ruled out. Any opportunity for fascist ideology to be threatened would be headed off at the pass. So it's one of the things I see that's the biggest problem among political discussions these days are just misunderstandings about the usage of certain words that are very loaded.
Absolutely.
And this is
absolutely.
I agree with you what you're saying, but I'm saying when you're talking about fascism, I don't think you're talking about fascism. You're just talking to people on a basis that you can understand, rather than they're far right or far left. I totally understand that, but you're talking about the ideology of fascism.
No, somebody just mentioned fascism in the comments. I don't even know what the fuck the term means, to be honest with you, because I don't give a fuck. I just want to be able to have civil discourse with people that I'm tired of the fucking echo chambers. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of echo chambers. Because the only thing that it does is make my neighbor my enemy. and then I get to hear the shit that I already think. And I don't grow from that. I don't learn from that.
No, there's a proverb, and this is true. In many different ways it's been phrased that, it's like flint and iron. It's like, when metal is sharpened on metal, you know what I mean? That
absolutely.
When your arguments are challenged, that makes you sharper, and it's a mutually beneficial exchange, and it's absolutely necessary for any health of a community or democracy.
That's why, you go back in the day, you have debates with William Buckley and James Baldwin.
Right. Yes.
Total polar opposite peoples, but we don't have that. I totally agree with Dr. We don't have those kind of things at all with mainstream media. It's non-existent. And
we're never going to get it. So we have to be our own fucking agents. And again, shout out to act.tv. I'm not just blowing smoke up their fucking ass. They gave me, I got a lot of different places where I got inspiration to create my own fucking platform where I get to control what is put out there. And the beauty of it is that I seek to relinquish control to the viewer, to the commenter, to the people that want to give their opinions, because I think that you end up with a fascist state when you have nothing but echo chambers.
Yeah,
How
that's
about
what- that's
like
what
JB
happened.
said, we head that off at the pass, and it's just like, you know what? You may not like what some people have to say on the opposite side of the political aisle. Well, I don't like liberals or conservatives, but I still want to hear y'all talk, because I think that we can talk a lot of people down off of the drastic action, because that's what I'm concerned with. I'm concerned with the drastic action. I'm concerned with the 18-year-old that doesn't think that anybody cares about him because he was born with a penis. And then everybody just kind of, he's just tossed away in society. He's like, well, I don't have any hope for the future. So if I'm going to go out, I'm not just going to go out by myself. I'm going to take other people. No, I want to talk to that kid before he goes to the elementary school, before he goes hunting for black people at the grocery store, before he goes hunting for his fucking surgeon because he's in too much pain or whatever his fucking excuse is. I want to be able to have some sort of effect where people feel like they're being heard, because sometimes that's all that's needed. Sometimes people just need to feel like their existence on this planet is not something that can be done with or without. Exactly. Because that's when the despair comes in. I want to head off the despair. And if I get a chance to do that, if I affect one person, let me tell you like this, right? I had an argument with Louis Rossman. I tried to get him on the panel tonight, right? But Louis Rossman is a friend of our show. And, it's really funny that, I asked him directly, because he didn't know there were so many ways, because he wants to, I think one of the things that he thought would be a good idea was to punish parents whose children use their weapons in mass shootings. It's like that you're just going to have more people in the prisons, right?
Yeah,
but I said to him, I said, 1.7.
That one person, that one kid, because the kid that the parents who love Trump and actually showed they went to Trump.
Oh yeah, the people, was that Ohio, some shit?
There's so many mass shootings, it's fucked up.
Yeah, I know, right? Like which one are you talking about? But I asked him, I said, Louis, you have 1.7 million subscribers on YouTube. How many letters do you get per month where somebody is sending to your email a thank you because they were thinking about doing something drastic to themselves or somebody else, but because of something that you said, they decided not to? And he says that he gets somewhere between 3 and 5 of those letters every month. And he's just talking about board repair and right to repair. Now imagine if I'm able to create a platform where the very people who believe that society has forgotten about them hear something that says, you know what, at least over here, you're not forgotten about. If I reach one person, I've done my job.
Those people listen to the worst things in the universe. They're listening to people like Ben
Shapiro. They come listen to me, motherfucker.
They listen to people like Ben Shapiro who further alienate themselves to make themselves feel like they're better by being alienated. Ben Shapiro tells alienated people that they're good for being alienated.
Carpe Diem says to spend your life simply trying to prove you're a human is draining and dehumanizing. Now, welcome to the experience of a black man living in America in 2022. Because every single time one of us gets murdered by the police, we're the ones on trial, not the police officer that murdered us. So we've been trying to prove that we are more than human for over 200 years.
So I want to bring in Richard. Activists use that
because Richard's been quiet, staring at the computer for a while. So what's up, Richard? What are you doing?
Hi guys, how you guys doing?
I'm good.
You were one of our guests in at the end of 2020?
Yeah, it was. Yes, it was.
Yeah, how you feeling? What have you been up to these days, Richard? What have you been up to these days, Richard? What do you think about the session?
Oh man, well, I believe I mentioned last year when we spoke, I told you guys that America is gonna feel the effect of African economy. And what I mean is, right now we're feeling it. There's a huge increase of population moving out of the city, population moving out of New York, people selling their houses. So people can feel this effect, and it's sad because you see really a lot of people in this country really work really, really hard, and they work hard and they want to just come back home and give a hug to their kids and now
we just talked about that. Yeah,
we just feel like it's a reset in terms of like a lot of things, because it's the first time that we ever found that software. We have to really like bring all the eggs in one basket and trying to figure it out how to fix all those problems. And that's just kind of something that even me, I feel the effect, because it kind of remind me of just back home, how economically, like when recession hit, you can feel it, you can see it, and on top of it, we just have all this new law that's passing on now. We talk about gun control and gun this and that. At the end of the day, like Dr. Evo said, man, like at the end of the day, we can only help individual. We can only do as much as we can to inspire.
I mean, the Senate after 19 children were turned into bowls of jello, the Senate went on vacation. So that's what the Senate did. Meanwhile, we had
maybe they
Canada,
were really stressed out, man.
Like Canada
they needed a break.
Canada, when nothing happened in Canada, they passed gun control laws. They passed it. You see that shit?
Yeah, and I'm glad that we actually talking about this, because this morning I was on the trend, and I was just kind of like, I've been paying around
the train kind of like
since
like the
Eric
Warriors.
Gardner. Since the mayor's like, hey, if you see a cop sitting there and on their phone, take a picture and tweet about it. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, yeah, that's not really gonna make any difference, because a lot of them
will look like a fucking snitch over here. I'm not
looking on the cops. That's exactly what I thought to myself.
I wouldn't even snitch on a cop. I
don't even know how to use Twitter like that to even tweet that picture to Mayor Gardner. But the crap about it, Mayor come on live TV on a press conference and tell people, if you see a cop doing this,
don't listen to Eric Adams. Eric Adams is he's just snitching on you. He's snitching on you. Don't do it.
Exactly.
Don't do it.
Pull it up. Pull up the clip.
It's a trap.
Pull up
the clip, Messiah.
It's a total trap. It's a total trap. If Eric Adams,
if you are encouraging me to waste my time,
you're planting your own evidence on yourself.
Oh yeah, we got to play that again, right? We cannot go off the air. We cannot go off the air without watching Eric Adams plant evidence on his own children. We can't do that.
Yeah, that is it.
Oh, Carpe is mad. Carpe Diem is mad. I worked on both his campaigns. I don't want to hear his name again. Damn, yo, you got yourself to blame on that one.
I'm afraid we're gonna show it. I'm afraid we got to show this clip. I don't know if have you guys seen this clip of Eric Adams?
I'm so excited.
He has like the worst child in history.
He has like the worst. Clip. I've seen it when you posted it, but I would love to see it again.
Yeah, you gotta see this clip.
Why do you think his son ties his shoes mad tight like that? Because his father plants evidence on him. That's why.
I don't wear socks.
Oh,
so
man.
we have the whole clip, and James from the internet was like based. He was like, "Yo, we had."
I wish we could get James on.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So I gotta play this for you guys. You guys don't remember this clip? I'll play it for you guys.
New York.
How important my crusade is of removing illegal handguns.
Does he look like a vegan to you that
Hi,
eats fish
I'm
and
New York
burgers on the
City
occasion?
And for 22 years, I wore a bulletproof vest and stood on the street corners and protected children and families in the city of New York.
Is he
bulletproof?
That looks like wet toilet paper he was holding up.
It's like a life vest from the Titanic and shit. What the fuck is that?
Yo, that shit was made out of that shit that Jack slipped off of when he died.
Inside my house, as I showed you
underwear.
how simple items such as bamboo paper can be
What's
an
that,
indicator
roll
of
up?
marijuana use, or a cut of
Bamboo's the worst paper to use. That's desperate paper.
Nobody smokes that shit. They don't know what shows you confidence.
I will show you how to.
That's dope head
search a
paper.
room to
Bamboo.
ensure
You
that
be
you
coughing up a
remove
lung.
illegal handguns and other contraband from your home. What I would like to show here is to empower parents on how to.
You niggas already laughing already. I haven't seen
It's
it.
imperative that you should know
I'm in a
what's
motherfucker's house
inside your
now.
house.
Why does he have two
And no one can
TVs?
state
One of
that
them
you
have to
can't.
be
Why one of them 45 years old?
You write the Constitution. There are no First
Is there a
Amendment
VCR
rights
player in
inside
the bottom?
your household. It is your obligation.
Nah, he planted some crack in that shit. That's what it is.
Protect the child that may be using an illegal drug or carrying an illegal gun, but
So
you
that's
also
what it
have
takes
to
to be a
protect
mayor?
the members of the household.
Yeah,
their
he's
younger
mayor,
brothers,
ladies and gentlemen. Everyone,
Record
people
yourself
like,
in your home, snitching on your own kids.
the younger
Yo, he might be the reason why we all got the pink slip.
the members of the household. So by periodically sending a message to your home that there are no rooms off limits, you don't believe in locked doors, your house is open to inspection
Wait, what's going
by
on
your
with it?
house, and
Did I just
he doesn't
do
believe in
three
locked
labels?
doors. You have no rights if you're Eric Adams.
Yeah, Xenon in our Twitch chat said First Amendment rights doesn't even apply here.
I'm trying to take a shit, Dad.
members of your house. The message is you expect your children to do what's right, but you always have to inspect what you expect. And that's the key to providing some preventive safety. So if you come to a room like this, you can start out, I always recommend to start out in a periodic fashion so you'll be used to going through the room to look
There's
at
nothing
the
periodic
various
fashion
items in
about
the
your
room.
living room.
You
whatever
can look
that
at the
is.
jewelry box. The jewelry box is this nature, maybe a simple jewelry box, but if you look through it closely, you don't know what your child may be hiding. For instance, a gun could be.
Damn, Susie is hacking. Susie.
Wow. Wow.
Susie got a pearl necklace and a fucking 9mm.
Oh,
Next
First
to,
of all,
Caliber weapon could
with these kids
What?
now, they don't need that little gun. They need the big gun. So that is
yeah,
not
let's go to
even like-
Walmart and get an AR-15 in Pennsylvania.
inside.
yeah.
a
Wait till your
jewelry
18th
box.
birthday though.
Look at the
Oh,
various
shit.
colognes and perfumes and photos and
Take that, Dad.
pictures. You should always, when your child bring in his popular knapsack with many different locations, look through it to see what exactly is your
Yo,
child.
That looks
I never
like-
had a parent look through my
He
stuff.
picked it up and the bag is already open, like everywhere.
carrying in addition to a book. Something simple as a crack pipe. A used crack pipe. Could have found-
Now,
Where?
if
Where does
I
your
found a
kids
crack
at?
pipe, is it simple?
Yeah.
When this record was done, last
I mean,
No, this is like 2000 and like I don't know. It's like almost
Ooh,
like 8 years ago.
which kid do you know right now? Unless they're like, first of all, your child, in regard, your child would never be exposed to that because first of all, you're already like in the world of like protection. So there's no way that your child's gonna have a crack pipe unless
wait. I gotta ask you this, Richard. Have you tried being Eric Adams' son? Because that could drive you to smoke some crack.
you know, being some probably that would be the reason why. That probably would be the reason why. There's just no way. There's no
What
way.
child is casually smoking crack? That doesn't sound
The
like a
son of
casual
Eric
problem.
Adams. I tell you, that nigga's shoes are tied mad tight for a reason.
Here's my social studies guide. Oh, and my crack pipe. And then my homework done so quick.
That escalated pretty high.
So let me understand
It's
this.
quite possible. But this is a discussion piece where you should start speaking
Discussion
with him to find
piece.
out what is
Yes.
he doing
Right,
with
you
it.
gotta have
And-
like
You have a lot of discussions with that piece.
Like show and
you gotta have
tell.
different
I appreciate
crack pipe
shit,
color,
as usual.
color on the table and say, hey son, this is different color pipe and you should not touch of this. I don't understand. None of this video will have any of those parents because in practice, 95% of parents does not even go to their kid body. No,
That's the problem, Richard.
But that's what he's saying. You should go through their bag and plant evidence.
exactly.
Take the door off
That's
the
what I'm
hinges.
saying.
Don't have
That
a
is
fucking
another
door
way
anymore.
that Eric
Not
Garland
even
would make
anymore.
his son get in trouble if he wanted to. That's the only way. I don't like this kid. Get the fuck out of here.
I don't like your attitude, but I play some
And-
crack.
And the whole use of drugs.
This
This invokes conversation. Look at picture frames and behind them, cameras. Try to determine what's taking place. Behind a picture frame, you can find bullets. What does that mean to find bullets?
The absurdity.
You're a serial killer. That's some serial killer shit. You got some loose bullets. Or you the Iceman killer? You're like a mafia killer? What the fuck you got loose bullets?
Loose bullets.
Nah, if you look over there, I got spent casings from when the first time I went to the gun range with Messiah.
Yeah.
right? But I had never really shot a gun before, so like, well, I'm gonna take these target paper, and I'm gonna take the spent shells. That shit does sit up there.
Yeah,
but that shit is not behind like a picture frame. And I definitely don't got no fucking Full Metal Jacket, fucking non-fired bullets just sitting around like
cartridges behind your.
Yeah, like
are you playing like Russian roulette by yourself? What the fuck is going on?
No, and look how sleepy he looks holding that shit. Yo, that's a plant, son. Oh my god.
Your child is
Yo, I'm sorry, 2001. He says, as a native New Yorker, I expect more from the mayor. What?
You should engage in the conversation and find out what are they doing with the item.
What are they doing with loose bullets in a 9mm pistol?
You think your child's going to answer that? Like, well, Dad, I've been selling drugs.
And why does it look like rifle ammunition and you pulled that tiny ass pistol out of the box? That don't make no sense.
Last time you're gonna see your kid.
I'm fucking assassinating the president. What the fuck are you for?
Yeah, he's not coming home anymore.
Look at all the items inside the room and feel around and see what's the possibility. Something simple as a baby doll. Could be just a baby doll, but also it could be a place where you can secrete or hide.
Yeah, because the doll just produces organically. It just produces marijuana.
Yo, that's a bad.
It just secretes it.
Dolls are just, covers to conceal heroin and coke.
Those American Girl dolls?
Yeah, how many times do you think that he's dug in his son's ass looking for contraband?
A lot of time.
Just Jimmy and little crack corn out of there.
But it's not abuse, y'all. It's not child abuse, y'all.
And he's the mayor. He's the fucking mayor of a fucking big city.
Hey.
And remember, according to the mayor, when you're really cold in the wintertime, you will solve it by closing the door.
And he wants people to fucking dry snitch themselves by taking pictures of cops. Well,
I mean, we have that clip of him snitching on a woman while he was in the subway, right?
Yeah.
Over the pillows and see if you feel anything that's under.
Who do you know as a child have time to put things inside the pillow? The only thing that
I felt something bumping.
Someone like this would do is if a kid was living somewhere in a family that have like
if your kid was fucking Scarface, Al Pacino and Scarface,
farm
maybe,
and bunch of fucking Nazi want to take over your farm, then you would hide the bullet and behind somewhere or the pillow or some shit like that.
You don't get it? You don't get it, Richard? We're talking about the children that came from Eric Adams. Now do you get it?
Okay.
They're in that situation.
Yes.
At least
he's using his kid as an example.
Yo, oh shit! Yo, I'm not sleeping, nigga. Take that. You sleep now.
Wow.
You sleeping.
It's like the Democrat.
Wow.
That's how you know Eric Adams abused their kids. They sleep with guns in their pillow.
Everywhere.
In the throw pillow.
You're like, yo, you're not coming to my bedroom at night, Dad. Fuck out of here.
They know the gun under the keyboard.
Yeah.
I'll draw you from the
Don't start at me. Well, I'll fucking shoot you, motherfucker.
Unbutton this cover. Reach into the throw pillow. Got a 32 in 5 seconds.
Here's a Saturday Night Special right now.
From behind the portrait.
John Wick, what the fuck is going on here? Like, what kind of murdering child you have here?
Inside a pillow, a gun, maybe something that you'll think that can't be hidden there, but it can. And what happens not only when the person who is carrying this illegal gun is in possession of it, but also a child that comes into the room and plays on the bed, they find this gun. Let me tell you what a child would do. A child would take this gun, and because the trigger pull is so hard, they normally take the gun and they point it in their direction to pull down on it.
Well, I was about to say something really dark and really fucked up. I mean, I can't be fired at this point, though, right?
No.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it, though. It's too messed up.
And we have a dumbass kid that's going to do something like that.
Yeah.
Stupid kid. Maybe doesn't even,
Yo, do you remember that one guy in Arizona that took his 7-year-old daughter to the range and put a Uzi in her hand, and then the recoil shot the when she pulled the trigger, the recoil like made the gun pop up into his face and blew his head off? I think that was like something like 15 to 20 years ago that happened.
That didn't cause any gun control.
So many gun accidents take place merely because a child discovers a gun in the room and believes it's a toy.
It puts it in his mouth and blows his brains out.
Just look and see what's inside your bookcases. It could be more than just books. Perfect place to hide cocaine or other illegal stuff.
Perfect place, not just somewhere. Perfect.
And you know how we know that we know it's the perfect place? Because Eric Adams planted it there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whenever I do coke, I want to read the dictionary while I'm doing it.
Yeah. My library is just a big fucking, cover. I stash all my shit in this nerdy looking library. I've been raided 3 times with no problems.
That room looked like somebody designed it in like 1967. So the only person that knows where to hide anything in there is Eric Adams. Therefore, it is Eric Adams that planted all that shit. I rest my case.
Is that like a David Letterman backlot?
My message to you: you have an obligation to protect your home. The First Amendment does not apply.
I thought Ja Rule was murder
parents to go through their homes.
He says the First Amendment doesn't apply.
Okay, so the first thing that he should know about his job as the mayor is, first of all, I'm sorry, but like, there's no way that it should be okay for unresponsible parents to bring a gun in the house. If they're not responsible, they shouldn't just have the gun in the first place.
No, but it's the kids. The kids have the gun. It's not Eric Adams.
I know, but what you need to realize is that video, it's not really happening a lot, but it's actually showing where to hide shit. Okay, so for me, if I never watched that video and I was trying to be educated, I wouldn't watch that video for a purpose of education for me to protect myself. I would actually watch it to learn where to hide these things. So I felt
But you know how I was educated?
How?
I was taught never invite Eric Adams to your house.
Definitely.
I don't think he
Hashtag never invite her. Yes, definitely.
Maybe he invites himself.
Definitely.
Nah, the door is closed. You got to get past the door, man. You ain't
Yeah. Who's there? No locked doors. Boom.
Oh yeah, that's right. Under his administration, there is no First or Fourth Amendment, right?
No, nothing.
No.
It's his house. No house.
Well,
No
yeah,
house.
but he doesn't talk about
But we don't
it.
know if it's really his house because we assumed he lives in New Jersey.
Oh shit.
We don't know where he lives.
I wonder what he talks about after, let's just say, assuming you're
Where does
worried
he even live? We don't know where he lives.
your kid is into some stuff and you do that and you do find some stuff, then what? I mean, that's just the beginning of the problem.
Yeah.
So what does he spend any time about how to handle that?
No, he just wants to lock kids up. That's the solution.
Well, he's pretty good at mimicking Hodor.
Yeah, he wants to plow homeless people from the streets.
That sounded really wrong. Carplay said, "I can't think of a U.S. mayor that isn't a loser."
Oh, that's it.
Why does she escalate the violence?
That beard.
For 16 vampires.
Yo, there's a lot of chemicals in that beard, yo.
Plugs.
I think that guy's beard got paid more than he got paid.
As a separate contract.
Oh, yo, she's got him dancing salsa y merengue.
Back in those times, it was okay to fight respectfully.
I mean, they were really respectful in their fighting. Hey, you got that clip of Eric Adams snitching?
Oh, call 911. Oh yeah, I do. Someone please call 911.
Yo, that was the most low budget, sad. That was sonically displeasing. That song.
Someone please call 911. I'm snitching on my neighbors. All right.
Oh man.
Yeah, here's Here's Eric Adams calling the cop, showing how useless he is as a mayor.
Another
the
reason
fucking
not
mayor.
to take the subway, y'all.
It was a bad sign. Like the mayor can't help you. You fucked, yo. You are fucked. We are fucked. Wait, so rewind this.
This happened while the news reporter was there as well. I like the fact that the camera keeps going back to
and I have an assault in progress of female.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
You want to talk about protect black women? He's snitching on black women.
Oh my god, that is hilarious.
Yeah, this
Are you
is also a
serious?
bad sign that this is how helpless the mayor is. Like, please help me.
Wow.
Help me. Somebody help me.
And this guy is snitching for the cameras, like he's like Superman or something. Like, isn't there a phone booth somewhere, motherfucker?
No.
Super snitch? The fuck?
They removed the last phone booth recently, so there's no more phone booth anymore.
Yeah, no, you just
humans and plants
so
and animals.
since like Eric Adams and like everything from San Francisco to LA, like AC is saying they're flushing the floor.
Read YouTube.
Yeah. Someone please call 911. I'm snitching on my son.
With the bullets in my heart.
Long before that.
So
No, the bullets that you found behind the picture frame.
We're all gonna be out in the streets. I gave a tutorial how to make an igloo when it gets really cold out here. It's cold out here in the streets.
Have been
Oh,
using
man.
frozen
Yeah, why his
sky
hair
water
look so
to keep
sharp?
warm, which sort of doesn't make sense because snow is cool. You might even say it's ice cold. No one knows for sure who built
That
the
wasn't
first
cool at all.
igloo.
That was
But with the
not
right
cool.
fit and the right physics, snow can actually warm you better than the inside of a tauntaun.
You'll be okay, Luke.
So how can something cold keep you cozy?
You find it under C in the
vast
dictionary.
is one of the most forbidding environments on our planet. Yet the Inuit
Shout out
have
to
managed to
Twitch,
live
shout out
there
to
for about
the
5,000
YouTube,
years.
shout out to Facebook.
Out on the pack ice, where temperatures reach 50 degrees below zero. And when it's that cold, surviving means finding shelter. It's not an area known for its forests, so nomadic hunters learn to build with the only thing available.
Yeah, you
Snow.
can fight cost
Eskimo
with
languages
cold.
really do have
Yeah,
dozens
Eric,
and
if you do
dozens.
that in New York City, Eric Adams is gonna get the police to shovel you out of there. So
You know
Well,
what?
that's the only way that you can get the shovels to come by.
Of different
oh
weather.
shit.
Just tell them
Because there are
after a
different
snowstorm, there's some
types,
homeless
and the
people
type of snow
around.
you choose can dictate whether your igloo keeps you warm or turns you into a Homo sapiens. To understand this, we need to know a little something about being cold. When your body temperature starts to plummet, you're feeling heat leave you. Cold can't move into your body. In fact, there's no such thing as cold. Where have I heard that before? Oh, right.
Bill Nye the Science
Think of
Guy.
heat as an actual quantity of stuff. The more you
I
give,
think Bill Nye the Science Guy
Is his
a
hair
total sellout.
fake?
He's a total sellout now. He's making like weird Exxon Mobil
That's too bad.
commercials now. Yeah, it's fucked up.
away, the
Didn't
colder
start
you
out that
feel.
way. He really
And this
changed.
trade
Nah, he was a good dude. Now he's like he's getting that paper now.
You're getting that paper, man.
Yeah.
I wonder
He's like
what
the
I would
Tupac
say.
song. It's like the Tupac song. Selling crack to the kids. I gotta get paid.
I gotta think about what I'm willing to say to get paid.
of heat can
Because,
happen in
I'm-
three different ways.
I'm
By
unemployed
convection,
again.
conduction,
Already
and
had to do
radiation.
that last
All
article.
three are at play in an igloo. A person inside will radiate body heat, which moves around the igloo by convection and is lost through the walls.
You know, this is getting Eric Adams angry.
All I'm
Someone
taking from this
sleeping
is that
for
white
free?
people can't do it and shouldn't try. The igloos.
Zach said that's where Eric Adams got the coke, apparently from an igloo.
The Eskimos, they've been doing it for hundreds of years. They figured out how to make it work. That's all I'm taking from this. There's too much
That's
scientific
induction.
principles.
This is
physical
exactly what
principles.
happens in your house.
See,
Living
there, that's where we
insulation
belong.
does the same thing.
When there's-
Fatty tissues like blubber
there's no
help
gun
stop
that says
heat
there's too much
transfer in
sun.
ways.
And I feel
Oh, there's no
like-
gun in there. You can't hide no gun, no cocaine in the dog.
Whales and
Yo, have you
seals.
tried to
And
hide
those animals don't
cocaine
have
in a
much
walrus?
junk in the trunk. They cover themselves
Like
in
that in the
air.
ice.
Sea otter fur, for example, is about 1,000 times denser than human hair. It's snuggly stuff.
This is the softest
And we've
thing.
moved on to seals.
You are adorable.
But the secret to its insulation
What was that
power
in
is
there
in its
for?
texture. Otter
You
fur
are
is
adorable.
spiky,
You're a
so it
freak.
traps insulating air molecules.
Dead animal.
And that is exactly what snowflakes do. Powdery, fresh snow can be up to 95% trapped air. This makes it an excellent insulator, but the same way you have to pack it in your
I don't like this. It's free. It's free stuff. I don't like hearing about
hands
this.
to make a snowball.
That's like socialism or communism or something, right?
Snow?
Windbreaker, but it's too heavy to lift. Inuit hunters took the
commercial
Goldilocks
exchange.
approach. The secret to good igloo
How can I make
snow
money off
is
of this?
somewhere in the middle.
Right.
Traditional igloo blocks aren't molded. They're cut out of the ground. That tightly packed ground snow is dense enough to hold up, but because it still has far more air pockets than a block of ice, it's light and still a pretty good insulator. As usual, animals figured this one out long before humans. Polar bears, groundhogs, even birds like grouse all make snow burrows to stay warm. Even before that, plants were tucking into snow to avoid death by freezing.
Yeah, that's why they're looking at us. These dumbass motherfuckers are paying to burrow themselves. So
During the warm months, heat energy from the sun builds up in soil, and just like the roof above your head, a deep covering of snow prevents that heat from.
Zach said, "Watch out! Eric Adams is going to search the igloo."
The snowy blanket above stops ice crystals.
Now you're just going to melt that shit so you can feel homeless all over again.
Not freezing to death is a pretty good motivator for any animal to get crafty, but our big primate brains took it one step further with igloos. Their engineering maximizes warmth and stability. Cartoon igloos look like flat-bottomed half spheres, but in reality, they're neither of those things. If you were to slice a real igloo in half, you'd see a shape called a catenary. This gradually sloping shape is the same one that would form if you held a chain from both ends and let it droop. A catenary arch distributes weight more
I got it
evenly
now.
than a half circle without bulging or
I got
buckling.
5 on
It's
it.
one of the
That's how you
stable
build your
arches in
igloos.
nature.
Put it in
Why does that look like?
Today.
It look like teeth.
Inside, snow houses are carved in different levels. The hot air rises and the cold air sinks down into the lower part, away from where you would eat, sleep, and chill. To boot, body heat melts the innermost layer of the walls, strengthening the barrier between you, your airy snowblock insulation, and the frigid great beyond. When you live in an igloo, you act as a living furnace. Over time, the temperature in your icy abode can hover some 40 to 60 degrees above the surrounding air. But bring a friend to your igloo party, and you'll get warmer faster.
Yeah, because they'll kill
Stay
you.
cozy and stay curious.
So you have
remember
it.
that thing?
That's living for free somewhere.
Stuart Gorman said, "Not freezing to death is why I moved away from Minnesota. What, you didn't want to purify yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka?"
Yeah. That sounds like it'd be a really good video, and but some of those videos I find, I don't know why they choose the hosts that they do.
Oh, that dork
it's hard to-
motherfucker. Dorky
Hard
ass.
to make it through 9
I
minutes.
mean, you got to sell the nerd. You got to sell the science, right?
Yeah.
Science has a public image.
Yeah, it could be like, Redman doing
His hair
science.
looks mad sharp, though.
I just
That shit looks like a helmet. Shit looks fake.
Because the whole thing is a scientific, like, instructional explanation broken down. So at least have somebody who's kind of like, charismatic and like has some presence. It's like, I don't know. It just seems like overload. Otherwise, I like that,
Yeah, I missed half of what you were saying because you was just talking like.
It was distracting me.
Yeah, no, I'm like, shut the fuck up,
Hang
nerd.
yourself,
Fuck you.
motherfucker.
Yo, what you got against nerds, man?
The elocution, the way that they over enunciate their words.
So
What is wrong with enunciation?
so
no,
so
that's
pretty
true.
much.
You put it in Spanish subtitles, and it's
So
okay.
so pretty much this is our last show, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to wrap it up. So, but you can find us. You can find me on @Rhodes Messiah. That's on Twitter. I'm on Twitter at the moment. Just find me on Twitter. I'm not on Facebook anymore, really, or Instagram. Instagram is private. It's none of your business. But I'm on Twitter.
Oh shit!
So I definitely talk crazy on Twitter.
No,
So
we
you
can
guys
still
should-
run the Black Power Magic Hour Twitter. We can still run that.
Oh yes, I'm gonna pull this up for you guys. So you guys hopefully can follow us right now. We give you guys time to.
Yeah, I'm at
look at this.
Dr_evil_genius. You can find me on PlayStation Network at that name. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, Discord, that same plus what is it? #1140, I believe. If you're on Discord, on YouTube, I'm not going to spell that shit out, but I have a YouTube channel, Dr. Evil Genius, spelled all the way out in one word. Also, the Talking Shit podcast. You can search for that in your YouTube search bar. TALKIN_SH_T. What else? Yeah, I do the thing with the thing. Like I said, we're definitely, me and my co-host Captain Paul, we're definitely a bit more right-wing friendly, but we're really just about public discourse and
hopefully
having voices heard.
Because it's different between being right-wing and people who don't read fucking books. So hopefully you guys are...
Oh shit! He's all shots fired! Shots fired!
There's a difference between that.
Yeah, but if we have to educate people, we have to educate people. But we also may find ourselves educated too, and I'm looking forward to it. So yeah. So we're again, you guys may find us popping up sometime next year on this platform. You don't know. I don't know. The forces that be, you just don't really know. Carpe says do a podcast together. I mean, I'm not opposed to that, but Messiah and I, like I said, a lot of people, you may not know this, but Messiah and I, we met in a homeless shelter when we were at rock bottom in life, and that was 19 years ago. Almost 19 years ago that we met.
Yeah, 17, 18.
Yeah, so I have a brother-like bond with this gentleman. I respect and appreciate him, and I'm already currently working on doing something. Either if it's on the platform that I have, or we create a platform together to create content. We're going to figure something out to make this because again, people, I think that, you guys in the comments, we got people watching us on television right now, watching us on Twitch. You got people watching us on Facebook. I think that, I think that we have a lot to offer over the years. And so, you guys, we're gonna have so much more. We just need to figure out some logistics and times and things of that nature. So
and check the Twitter handle. The fact we're like some Nico Damas shit. When you check all the stories we've done the past 2 years, we were ahead.
They're gonna leave up the YouTube channel, right?
Our YouTube channel,
act.tv.
People watching on YouTube, they don't
so you can look at all the stuff that we've done. We have like a bunch of stuff on there. And again, us being done for the here and now, which is 136 episodes, right? We still have a catalog. This is something that we've done. It happened, and this is something that we absolutely should be proud of. 100%. I'm proud of what I've done here. I'm proud that act.tv gave me the opportunity, that gave us the opportunity. It's a melancholy episode. 100%, right? But it's still pretty goddamn cool to me.
That's unavoidable. That it would be a little melancholy. No matter how long or successful it had been, that's just, I think that's always the case with the last program or something. And, I would like it if you archive your shows maybe by topic as well. You have, increase the ability for it to be a resource because you are two, brilliant, independent-minded thinkers offering a perspective that you don't, get very often in the mainstream or even tertiary media. And I look forward to what you two continue to do together and individually.
Yeah, we might not have the legal right to like calling the segments what we've been calling it here, but we're going to continue to make videos very similar to what we've already made here. We're going to do a lot of human interest. We're going to keep advocating for the American worker, not just the Black American workers. We're going to continue to advocate for the American worker, for the American citizen that cannot afford a $500 million super yacht.
Remember, Fred Hampton. I always look up to Fred Hampton. He died. He wasn't even like 22 years old when he died, but he was murdered. He had the most crucial view of like when it comes to Pan-Africanism, internationalism across class, across gender. This is why they ran into his house and fucking murdered him so young, because he was like the perfection he had when it comes to what he believed. And he was spinning his grave right now, to be honest, to see like what other Black people are doing, how we silo ourselves, how we keep to our detriment a lot of times. And you forget the kind of across party lines, across economic lines, poor white people, poor Black people, poor Asian people all need to work together. I mean, Fred Hampton, this is why we call ourselves Black Power Magic Hour, for that deep inspiration of what the Black Panthers saw. What inspired them to make it was Fred Hampton, and so to speak. So this is why I came up with Black Power Magic Hours, because of Fred Hampton. I know people might have thought I was talking about like some crazy Black liberation, Black like supremacist thing which doesn't even exist in this planet, unless you go to like Zimbabwe or something like that. I don't know, but we believe that's what we believe here. That's why we talked about Amazon forever until finally Amazon won. You saw what one warehouse did to Jeff Bezos. He's on Twitter now, tweeting like a crazy ex-girlfriend now, because
bar when she lost her show
because of one fucking Amazon warehouse got unionized. This one, he's almost a trillionaire. This is how scared they are when just a few working people gather together and work together. This is why it's important that we keep working it. We can't be divided. They want us to be divided so badly, so it's easy to sell us stuff. It's easy to like feel alienated. So it's crucial that we all listen to each other, not be divided in little silos, because social media loves these silos. That's what makes the money in Facebook. That's what makes the money in Instagram, that we're all in our little bubbles hating each other. It feeds on the hate. That's the truth. There was whistleblowers who went in the congressional hearings and parliamentary hearings in the UK and the United States who said verbatim that Facebook, Twitter is all about negativity. That's what makes their money, is hate, people hating each other. Fucking genocides in Myanmar make some money, not people talking about how we can help each other. That doesn't make Facebook or Twitter money. That doesn't make them money. So
yeah, I mean, but the thing is, I'm determined to get rich, pushing that narrative, right, of actually helping other people and caring about somebody other than oneself. D. Lee asked, no more dash and batch or bad cops. I mean, again, we're going to cover many of those stories. It just may not be called that. But
I guess we should just play those intros out for one last time. Let's play Bad Cops one last time before I do my King.
Oh yeah, because I think you sang the theme to that, right?
Yeah, we played Bad Cops for you guys.
1, 2, 3. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Bad cops, bad cops. Bad cops, bad cops. Bad cops, bad cops. Bad cops, bad cops.
Yes, so many cops are on the tick. What do you expect when they use tear gas and tanks? Whether in a car or on a horse, cops don't mind using excessive force.
Bad cops, bad cops. What you gonna do? Bad cops, bad cops. What you gonna do? Bad cops, bad cops. What you gonna do? Bad cops, bad cops.
This is filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Yeah.
Now, here's a funny thing that fucks me up about that intro, right? Every time I hear it, I hear someone that sounds like me. And I've never heard anybody on planet Earth that sounds like they have my voice. And I'm listening to them just like, shit, did I record this shit? I just wasn't there for it? Like, what the fuck is that?
And we play the next favorite one. Everyone loves this one, which is on
the virus.
Yeah.
the coronavirus.
It's going to disappear. One day, it's like a miracle. It will disappear.
That's fucked up, yo. Just like a miracle, it'll disappear. Like the Rona's still here, but Black Power.
We're disappearing.
Magic Hour is disappearing.
We're
What the fuck, man? That ain't fair.
Yeah, Trump is winning. What's happening, America?
I think the theme music there really got me in the mood to tear some rich assholes a new asshole. Because the thing is, like when you guys see the intros to the segments, it's being played for us too. So my brain actually adjusted to each theme, and it would just kind of get me in the zone for that particular segment. Just by listening to the music. So again, we got to give a lot of credit to our producers and the art team that act.tv graciously gave us access to. That
especially this one. Great art. This is my favorite one. I love this one, of course. I love this one.
Yeah, the Chitayu?
No.
Y'all know what's not some future stuff?
What? Us?
Black Power Magic Hour.
And then finally, we're trying to warn you people about the climate. And unfortunately, you guys is going to keep on buying big F-150s. Here's Nature Time.
Yo, the crab with the fucking knife, man. But one of our most savage segments we've ever done was when we did the thing where they were asking the married couples about different things going on in the bedroom. So we got to play for the people in love. We gotta play that for the people.
Oh, here we go.
The kid with the fucking turtle. Yo, like that song makes you think you got laid.
And then finally, because we do, like I said, we do a global perspective as well. Don't forget Global Earth News.
Yo, that shit made me feel like I was like a news anchor or some shit.
Yeah,
like I thought I was for real.
Yeah.
Start making up headlines.
Yeah.
You know,
France has declared nuclear war against Yemen or some shit.
That's a crazy thing, man. Like we didn't have to make up shit. because shit just kept. Life. You know how they say the truth is stranger than fiction.
Yeah.
Life is so off the fucking chain. There were times that we could not do the fucking show because some ultra wild shit happened.
Yeah. So, and then we usually end with our final clip. I want to end with our final
we
video.
worked for 2 years. We want to, and I could do a lot of pull-ups now. I want y'all to know this, all right?
Yeah. We
worked
worked
for 2 years.
Yeah, we usually end with this final video for you guys to show how hard we work. We work so hard for you motherfuckers.
And we're going to work hard to get back to you people as well.
I wanted to gain his acceptance. I failed.
When is that ever going to be not funny? So before, like when we got off the air on Tuesday night, right? And we went off the air. Hold up. Before we got off, like right after we got off the air, right? Messiah and I were talking. And he said some wild shit like, that Kingpin trying to do that pull up. There's something strangely sensual.
He's like,
yeah, rather than grunting, he's kind of,
Hey, man, if somebody would have asked me if the Kingpin was a pitcher or a catcher.
Wow.
Oh man, but with all of these mass shootings, man, I think that you have to go back to the past to have a good understanding of the kind of rage that we all collectively have. So, take a listen.
Scientists were able to mimic Nessie Amun's voice by recreating his mouth and vocal cords with a 3D printer. It allowed them to produce a single sound.
Why? I thought he was gonna say something. Why?
Oh my God, we're going to hell.
So that being said, we're gonna wrap it up for you guys. We appreciate you guys.
Richard, thank you so much for coming back. I mean, I remember when we had you on as a guest before. I mean, you were breaking news, and then like about a week later, it started popping up on mainstream media. That shit was insane. JB, I've known you for a long fucking time. I remember that one project we worked on together. We worked on a fiction project in the Upper West Side, and that was like a lot of fucking fun. I'll never forget that shit. And as adults, we separate, we come back together, we separate. You just never know, So it's really cool to have you guys. I wish we could have had James for the final episode. That would have been because he's provided a lot of inspiration for me as well. Again, much love to Sabrina Williams. Thank you so much. Brad Gans, again, I cannot thank you guys enough. I just cannot thank you guys enough. They know what they did for me over the last 2 years when things were pretty difficult, or if I was just trying to, in fact, I could not get into this apartment without Brad Gans and Sabrina Williams. And look, I've got a doorman. I got 24-hour doorman service, right? I that doesn't happen without act.tv. But, again, much love to everybody who has ever watched our platform. Also, much love to the assholes that come through and just look at the title of the name of our show
or
and start going on and on about
two black
Martin
people
Luther King.
talking, or to see two black people talking and just get angry about it for some reason. There's two black people just angry.
Yeah.
Black people talking.
Yeah, I want to thank all the guests that we've ever had too. Even sometimes things got a little contentious, but it made for good TV. I learned a lot from a lot of our guests. This is definitely one of the signature accomplishments of my life, co-hosting, being one half of Black Power Magic Hour.
Yeah, so we appreciate you guys. Tune in to me at Rhodes.Messiah. I'm on there, Rhodes Messiah. You can see over here my name thingy. So just follow that over here. Follow that. It's that simple. So just follow that. So
you can find me. Right here. It'd be like Twitter, and then you can find me in other places. Find me through Twitter, and then you can find the other projects that I work on.
Yeah,
the other YouTube channels that I have.
I'm not trying to confuse you guys like him. I'm just in one place. Just find me one place.
yeah. Find me on Twitter. DM me or something. Send me a tweet. And if you want to see the other content that I've got going on, definitely hit me up here on Twitter.
I'm reinvigorating building my website, but check out backalleyauthor.org .com, Back Alley Author. It's also got a Facebook page. I'm a photojournalist, journalist. And
he takes fucking fabulous photos, y'all.
And I'm hooking it all up. But look for John Ramsey in the news, and then Back Alley Author. It's coming to you soon.
And Rich, you got any shameless self promotion you have to do?
No, I had a lot of shame. I felt a lot of shame.
Before and after.
Just follow me at House of Benenge, which is HOUSEOF Benenge, my last name. That's my Instagram. I don't really have Twitter. I did have a Twitter, but I have no idea what the hell how that work and how it worked. The first time I ever tweeted was after the whole police thing that happened with the brother that got killed last year. So
a lot of them got killed, but one of the brothers.
Yeah.
Was he awake? At least wasn't he awake when he got killed?
Doesn't matter what color the police is, they'll fucking kill you.
George Floyd. That was when I literally opened a Twitter after George Floyd. But overall, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me. This was an amazing experience as always. And Ram, I'm looking forward to see more of your cool photos. Dr. Evil, definitely I already start following you. I'm gonna send you a couple of new stuff for me. And Messiah, thank you again for always, thinking of me, because you know me, I'm very expressive and definitely still want to talk more about other things, but we should definitely do that when you guys come back next year. I'm very excited.
Yeah, we make a movie or something at some point. So it's
definitely. I definitely looking forward for this summer. This is the first time I'm probably gonna be more active. So I'm looking forward to learn how to swim and learn how to drive. So that's my goal this summer.
So you can be James Bond.
Yeah.
So you can drive your car over a bridge and swim.
Yeah,
so.
I can be driving my car while putting my thing on my high dog, whatever it is.
Yeah. So we appreciate you guys tuning in. We love everyone from TV to Facebook to everything. So please follow us. This is the final piece. Peace.